take the Epic exclusive money. If it makes the game better, that's fine. Fine, there's been reports of the issues with the Epic store. I'm not going to defend the store. The store sucks. But I mean, people who are saying just on principle, like they're defending Steam, like they're not going to use any other launcher. Yeah, fine. But then, I mean, I don't know. I find it hard to sympathize. I hate the Epic launcher as much as the next person, but having to press a different button to start the game, fine. I need to focus here. This is actually not an easy fight in the slightest. I might actually run my front line up against these Orc Young, because we're going to get chain stunned quite badly here. We just let them come in. I mean, what happens if we take this front line here? And we're just putting ourselves into contact with these berserkers. Luckily, they aren't looking too scary in terms of their weapons. You know what? I'm not going to move forward in the center of the formation here because I want to step forward with my spears and spear wall and try to encourage them to come to the middle of the formation. Because if they're coming to the middle of the formation, I'm happy. I also don't see why. Look, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. It doesn't have to be promise them a game on Steam, because I mean, I'm putting myself in the developer's shoes. When you promise that the game will be on Steam, you make that promise either when Epic Store wasn't around, or when the business case for taking the extra money wasn't actually that strong. Because at the end of the day, it is a business, and customer goodwill, money from Epic. So what was I saying? I don't see why some of the developers can't say, okay, you know, just even if it's just as a purely tactical, you know, public relations, customer annoyance management step, say, look, we admit that we promised you the game on Steam, but that hasn't. Just be honest and say, you know, the business case now for taking the Epic exclusivity deal was so strong, we'd be foolish to not take it. So why not just say, like, okay, fine, so for those of you we promised it on Steam, we can offer you maybe, like, I don't know, we can upgrade you to a special edition for free, or because there's loads of ways that they can give extra value for the people who have promised the game on Steam that still won't cost them any money, because, like, giving those people digital goods don't cost them anything. And I don't think it wouldn't be good enough for the majority of people who are just looking to signal about how, you know, how pissed off they are. But it's fucking something. Really, Trevor? You missed 2 90%s? What is this? Blood Bowl? Yeah, broken trust. Don't cry me a fucking river. It's a company. I mean, yes, I get it. At the same time, I can't have all those sympathy for people who trusted what a company was saying. They're a company. Their function is to make money. If they can make their customers happy, that's a bonus for them. It's by no means their objective. Yeah, I get that, and I get what you're saying. You know, okay, you know, customer goodwill is super important as well. But I think that there is an obligation on the customers to not be that naive, frankly. I shouldn't talk about the stuff. It's just gonna piss people off because it's not a popular stance that I have. And Darion, what have you got? Don't bother shielding because you'll just crash straight through it. It's like, the thing is, when I hear about these exclusivity deals, I don't get pissed off because I didn't put much stock in the promises in the first place. I would hazard a guess that if you could somehow gather the data to be able to measure the stance on epic exclusivity, like let's say you make a graph, and the x-axis is gamers' age, and the y-axis is strength of reaction against epic exclusivity. My prediction is that it would be a declining graph, which is a long way of saying that I think that the younger someone is, the more likely they are to be super pissed off about the violation of the agreement. I think that older people are like, yeah, fuck, whatever. They game developers, you know, they're gonna fuck you over. Oof. Don't get me wrong, I'm no fan of the Epic Store. It's a bit of a fucking joke, actually. Like, I went on there, I'm trying to find information about when Phoenix Point comes out, and it's just so basic. It's a dog shit site. If I have to think of the one thing that pisses me off the most about Epic and the Epic Store, or Epic generally, it's that they abandoned Paragon. I mean, I know it was difficult, and you know, there's so many interesting videos dissecting how Paragon died. But the thing is, Epic have so much money that they could have kept on carrying Paragon at a loss, and it wouldn't have made a bit of difference. They have so, instead of spending all of this money on buying exclusivity deals, just carry Paragon until it's ready. Oh yeah, the client is garbage, yeah. But I can tell you how the discussion will go in some, you know, executive meeting. Someone in the meeting will be saying, look, we have to improve the storefront, the user experience is horrible. And then some exec will say, how much money do you have to pump into the storefront to fix it? Their tech will give them X amount of money. The exec will say, okay, but when do I see the returns for that? Then you have to explain, okay, well, you'll see the return for that in X amount of months or years, in, you know, goodwill increasing. Then the exec will say, fuck that, just have a shitty storefront. If you force them to buy the games here, it's more money now. It's short-sighted business thinking, or business thinking. Just having, like, I've worked in law firms, I've worked for a major bank, I've worked for major banks. I understand how these people work and the way they look at their customers, you know. It's disgusting, but unfortunately that's just the way the world works. Yeah, I've never used GTO and I never will. Oh, Struth! Emergency, emergency, get Lelouch out of there, boys. Emergency, get Darren out of there. Yeah, I'm paying too much attention to chat here instead of killing orcs. Yes, clutch. Okay, we got to get Darion out of there, and we got to get Lelouch out of there. Fucking now. Acts in 2 turns, acts in 15 turns. Okay, good. So Cilia Sodus can rotate Lelouch out. I just got to kill this Orc Young now this turn. That'll do. That'll do. What's up, Soda? Indeed, the run is going pretty well. We just got a little bit of an emergency situation here now. I've got 2 lads who are almost dead. And then Darion can take probably 1 more hit. That's more of an issue. Yeah, kill this Berserker. 1 more hit there. Brown alert. That's absolutely correct. Actually, it's 8 turns, 7 turns. Elendarion can rotate himself out, then he only has to deal with this Orc Young, who is now fleeing. Clutch. That is clutch. Okay, so Elendarion should be fine now. Lelouch the Eye, you can just bravely run away. Bless Orc Young and their cowardly ways. Get him, boys. No greenskin survives. That's still a bit scary there. That berserker. See, this is why Dazed is so good, because it puts his initiative right to the end of the turn, so that means you can almost always attack before them. The two-handed maces are such good weapons. Lelouch, you just stand at the back there and hurl abuse. Elendarion, you guys be like, yeah. So those two at the back now are basically like I would be if I ever have my friends get into a fight at a bar. I'll just be standing behind them like, yeah, fucking get him. My street fighting record is 0-0, so technically I'm undefeated. I intend to keep it that way. Run them down. Actually, no, fuck it, don't bother. Well fought, men. That got a bit spicy towards the end there. But that went well, and we got a nice payday off of that. For 13 Mace Raider. Very nice. Wait, are you dodgy? You are not dodgy. Hit points is good. Fatigue is fine. Let's go range defense. If there was a pub like it, I'd go there. My torturer needs hit points, and he needs... Is his initiative really that bad? Oh, because of sprained ankle. I don't see him. He's not a candidate for being dodgy, I don't think. He just needs fatigue and hit points and melee skill. Okay, level 7. He now has nimble. 8 archer. This is a good candidate for overwhelm. This lad, Chris Oakenshield. But I think we need to go for quick hands. Let's take a look at our build. Does my dedicated archer build have quick hands? It does. Yeah, so the dedicated archer still uses throwing axes when there's armored targets that are around. Therefore, quick hands I think is worth it. Even over berserk, it's worth it. Who can hold the flank for us? Silius Sodus can hold the flank for us. And Rum the Reaper can get in there. Well fought, men. Very well fought. We need a temple. Temple at Sandberg. We could go to Sandberg. We're on our way to Dunnenberg anyway. I think we stop in at Sandberg and visit the temple. It's only 150 to get there as well. Oh baby, give me them tools. Hand them over. Look at these fucking great axes. Oh, all you Shret on this map. Gaze upon my axes and tremble. Let's just look. We've already treated ourselves. The wounds, that is. Let's camp until we've used all our tools, then we'll buy more tools. And oh, hello, distinguished fencing mail. That is, look at that, 182 for -9. Wow. Unfortunately, we are 10,000 gold short. Our axes shall not block out the sun. In fact, they shall allow in the sun by chopping down all the shred that would otherwise block out the sun. Shields. Throwing spear. No, fighting axe. Look at this. I've got 3. Look, let's count the fighting axes. This is the one-handed axes only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 fighting axes plus 5 great axes plus 2 heavy rusty axes. So when it comes time to fight Shret, we'll have 7 two-handed axes in the front line and then a whole bunch of axes for the back line. I'm not even going to look at more brothers now. We might have to stop hiring. Our daily rate must be fast approaching 500 gold. Yeah, 470. $31 more, 20. So when that hits 80. Was it 90? 80. So you guys in chat, are you looking forward to Phoenix Point? Are you keen to see it played? I mean, I have a little bit of trepidation about playing Phoenix Point because I imagine that it's not going to be the thing that makes my channel blow up because so many people are going to be so pissed off about it. Yeah, I got that achievement quite a while ago. But I saw the E3 demo for Phoenix Point and it looks fucking great. I can't wait to play it. It's a little bit difficult to to get a gauge on how good it is or how bad it is because every time I've seen it being played, it's being played by one of the developers who's not even very good at the game. Like they're consistently running around with the guys out in the open and they're not even using cover and I'm like, what the fuck? I assume ESG is one of the Gamescom games show things. Honestly, I'm not phased in the slightest about the going to Epic exclusivity thing. I just want to play the game. I hope it's good. Ah, thank you, muted myself. I was just saying that I hate the Epic Store as much as the next guy. And I've heard reports of credit card information not being secure and whatnot. But until that happens, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I want to play that game, and I want it to be good more than I care about all the shit that happened around the game. So Blood Bowl 3 has been announced. It's been announced that it's going to be made, but I imagine it's such early days. It won't be released for another 2 or 3 years. So it's too early to speculate. Hell, even if they do nothing else other than allow you to rename someone after you've hired them, I mean, like, why the fuck isn't that a feature to begin with? I'll be happy. I really hope they don't compromise the core of the game. The absolute core, RNG, maddening, you know, the best and the worst part of the game. Anyway, when Phoenix Point comes out, I'm going to play the shit out of it, and I hope you guys will watch. I played Black and White years ago, loved it. Although the controls on Black and White were endlessly frustrating. You didn't have a lot of control. David Ironheart, you are still low level, run around. Blank. I mean, RimWorld is kind of a god game. Crunch. Deaded. But Hillham, so I assume you will pick it up once it eventually makes its way to the Steam store. Oh, not at all, ever. Wow, okay. So you're one of those extreme dudes. Fair enough, I can respect that. Throwing axes. Whoa. Because it made the game and all those games, fucked his fans so hard and I hated instead of praised. Fair enough. I just hope it's a good game. If it's a shit game, then fine, fuck him, whatever. I want a game that's better than XCOM. It's funny, I used to pirate games when I was much younger, but once I started earning a bit of money and I had decent internet that I could actually just use the Steam store, I never really, minded. You have quick hands, David Ironheart. You do not. I would just say one final thing on the subject. Like, okay, fine, Julian Gollop, you would think he's a dick. But also remember, he's not the only person in that company. There's a lot of other hardworking people in that company who deserve for the work that they have put into the game to be rewarded. So what I'm saying is when you refuse to buy the game, you're not only punishing Julian Gollop, you're punishing every other person who's employed by that developer. But again, that's totally fine. That's up to you. Like, what are those developers supposed to do? Not work for them? I mean, hell, job's a job, right? But yeah, I wish there was a better way that you could say fuck you to the developer who's been a dickhead. Maybe go on his Twitter and say, hey, you're a dickhead, fuck you. Absolutely, not the responsibility of the customer. Yeah, I get that. It's a complex issue. Although if I'm honest with myself, if the same thing happened to a game that I cared enough about, I'd probably be just as incensed. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Martin, because I mean, in these situations, the people at the top, the execs, always get their money. Like those EA executive pieces of shit. Like, I think it was, I remember there was a Jim Sterling story when he said like EA declares like 4 billion in losses and all the execs get bonuses and then they just fire all the low level people. Done. The Caber Beast has been such a surprise this campaign. When we got him and I saw what his melee range was going to be like, I never had much hope for him offensively, but he's consistently hitting. I mean, 79 accuracy isn't great, but then it gets offset by his fast adaptation, and he's hitting a lot. Oh yeah, Bobby Kotick is fucking demon walking around with human skin on. Like, it was interesting, I had this discussion with a friend of mine who's a bit more conservative than I am. I consider myself very much a, you know, lefty. I'm left of center, I'd say, but I have had this discussion with all my friends, and I'll say to them, like, how much money would you have to make personally? Like, what would your yearly take-home pay have to be before you started feeling bad about it? Like, because to my mind, there is a number on your salary where it becomes unethical to earn that much. And I started to think this way after I listened to a podcast, the Sam Harris, what was called the Waking Up podcast then. Now it's making sense, but he was talking to a Scottish philosopher who was talking about the ethics of suffering and, you know, spending your money and whatnot. And I mean, it's funny, like, I mean, everyone has a number. Like, if I had to think how big would my salary have to be before I'd start feeling really bad, it would be somewhere in like 10-20 million a year after tax. Then I would start thinking, this is wrong. I mean, you know, because I'm no philosopher. I only took 1 year of philosophy in uni, but I absolutely can see and understand the argument that it's an extreme argument, granted, but the argument goes that, hey, just thanks for the resub, my man. So the argument is this. The argument is every cent you make above the money you need to survive is blood money. So I don't agree with it. I think it takes the argument too far, but I can understand the essential thrust of the argument. Because every cent you make that you're not spending on helping someone, you could be spending to help those people, and they're dying because you aren't helping them. So I get that argument, but again, I don't agree. I just don't buy that. I just don't think people have that responsibility, you know. You know, everyone has their own way that they want to be generous. Like for me, it's tiny. It's absolutely tiny. But what my group of friends started doing was when we have a birthday party, and like all our friends get together, and it's someone's birthday. Hang on. You know, Darion brings you a crack in the side of a Kalish berm. You can see something glinting in the dark. Whatever it is, it's earthen hole would be hard going to dig through, the sellsword nods. I know it's in there, good and solid, but I reckon that's something worth fetching. Let's dig. This is gonna proc a fight, isn't it? Let's dig. Hey, nice! Golden chalice. Luck smiles upon us. So what I was saying was, like, I don't, you know, donate any amount of my salary every month. When I go to the shops and there's those people trying to get money, I generally try to ignore them. I fucking hate that. Especially if it's a charity that I don't know. Honestly, the only way that I'm generous really is that once a year, like at work, I'm sure you all have this at work, you have the whip round. Oh, it's someone's birthday, give some money. I give to everybody else, but then when it's my turn, or it's my birthday, I always insist on cash, or that they take the money and make a donation in my name, preferably to an animal welfare, any charity, animal welfare. Because I thought to myself, like once a year I get a few extra $100 or, you know, pounds, whatever. What am I going to do with it? What do I really need? I've got everything that I need. So, oh yeah, I was saying what my friends and I do. If it's someone's birthday, you know, we'll have a braai or a barbecue, as you guys call it, at someone's house. And instead of everyone bringing booze and wine and money for the person, we're all relatively well-off middle-class people. You don't need it. Instead of that, everyone brings dog food, blankets, canned dog food, or cash, and then the person whose birthday it is, it's their responsibility to gather it all up and then send it to the local SPCA. So that way you still get to have your party, you still get to have your fun, and you get to do something good. Yeah, when I lived in London, I donated to the, what's it called again? It's that big dog and cat shelter under the bridge, man. London Animal Shelter. What was it called again? It was. I'm gonna kick myself when I see the name of the place. I lived right near there, man. There's Greenway Park. This is bugging the shit out of me now, man. I used to live in London. What the fuck was that place called? There's Chelsea Green. Where was I? I was in South Side. Okay, wait. There's Lambeth. Where was I? I was in... Okay, this is shitty viewing. It'll come to me. I don't know, whatever. Whatevs. Right, have we all got heater shields? We do. Nice. Golden chalice. The footman's armor we don't need. All this other armor we don't particularly need. Okay, we've got a bunch of stuff we can offload. 791, okay, that's well below cost price. Let's hang on to all of the stuff. What sort of fighting shape are we in? We need to heal up, and we got some armor damaged as well. What kind of missions do we have here? We have hunt down what terrorizers. We'll see what it is we're up against and then decide who's going to take on the fight. "28 Nachtzeers." That is a fucking lot of Nachtzeers. Prepare. Nachtzeer protocol, gentlemen. We just got to get on top of them. And if we put in the best of the best, we shouldn't have too much to worry about. Is this going to be the moment Stobbie knew he fucked up? Level 1, level 2, level 7, level 11, level 12. Well, Donkey, now that you've said that, I have to try this. Shield break, 65 accuracy, 77 on Lelouch. We're not leveling brothers. These are all of our highest level dudes. It's the fact that we've got such high numbers on everybody. I think this is eminently doable, and we got good javelins. We're going to kill these things quick. The thing is with Noctirs is if you can just get on top of them and break their morale. This is going to be glorious. We got spear lads to hold down the flanks. We've got super dangerous lads in the center of the formation. We've got one excellent throwing weapon user. We've got two pretty competent archers. Okay, we're all going to move forward here. Everyone's got dogs as well. If things really start getting hairy, we can release dogs. Be very careful when you're shooting with a crossbow at these low-level lads. Like, dropping one of these corpses now would be disastrous. Yes, so putting... Okay, the Warhammer needs to go to the flank. George Warhammer goes there. Height advantage for... We can consider the northern flank, I think we can consider it's locked down. This little bit of break in the battlefield helps us as well. Lelouch can hang back there, he's low level. Lord Nasty is here to support. Oof, careful. The nice thing is here we are softening up a bunch of them, so any of these wounded ones will probably die in a single stab to the spear. What's going to be super important is waiting with the front line, having the back line kill the front line, then these lads can move forward onto their corpses. If you double attack here with your front line, you then can't cover those corpses, and then that can become very nasty very quickly. Wait. Lord Nasty, I want this Nachtseer to come in. Quick hands and javelin, I reckon. Now watch what Sealand can do here with these barbarian. Almost an outright kill. Unfucking believable. And look at that damage, and that's Sealand. And just bear in mind, Lord Nasty is going to become more dangerous than Sealand. Look at these damage numbers. 73 damage. And that's 73 damage. And that's without Executioner and Killing Frenzy, which Lord Nasty is going to have. I'm telling you lads, at some point we are going to hit 150 damage with Lord Nasty. Sparrow 4. Shoot. Decapitate. Or miss and miss. That's also. Dodging. And step forward. And Trevor Belmont can actually just go crazy with a whip. I think the battle is mostly won. Just because the morale is shattering. Actually, don't attack, because that could kill him, and then one of these can come forward and eat the corpse. But that's a scimitar, so if we can get a Shamshir, then it'll be even better against unarmored targets. Dogs are also super important for covering corpses. Yes! Everyone shall tremble before Silius Otis. Bleed, you scum! Break the morale, move forward. Crunch, broken leg. Now things could get a little spicy up in the north here. The 26, I think this is the second biggest flock of Noctairs I've taken down. My best is 34. Oh, whoopsie, I had more attacks. Fancy feet, such a good skill. Get over there, boys. Reinforce northern flank. Sweet. The fact that his morale broke means it'll be totally fine. Oh yeah, those throwing spears are fucking incredible. The barbarian throwing spears do so much damage. Look at all the bleeds, holy shit. Not that it matters. Worth going after these lads. Get him, biter. I agree, Donkey. Yeah. Bleed, you're totally right. It really should. If it did, it would be so much stronger. But the thing is, then you would have to counterbalance it with maximum amount of bleeding weapons allowed on a battlefield. Because, like, imagine if my 16-man squad, if I had 9 guys up front, if I had 9 torturers. Holy crap. Where's my phone? I fancy a game of Blood Bowl. I think at this point, if I go to one of the major cities and... Oh, a patrol. Lovely. 117 per head. Wonderful. If we make a beeline straight for one of the ruins, we're gonna make a fucking fortune. Forester's hideout. Some way to the northeast of here. Getting the 10,000 crowns doesn't increase your wagon, does it? It just gives you a morale boost. It's the 7,500 for the first, and then 15,000 for the next bit. Brigand hunters, no thank you. A bunch of marksmen. It's not worth the fight. Back to Rheinburg, but let's stop in here. We'll clean out Outlaws Hideaway and Ruins of Kragenheim. What's in there? How many? It's a lot of marksmen. And a few leaders. Range weapon protocol, gentlemen. I think for this one I might actually leave the big hammer behind. He's got to stay safe behind his kite shield, and the regular one-handed warhammer does plenty of damage. Shield breaker. I think I might want the shield breaker in this fight. There's not another crossbow banging about here somewhere. That's right, another warbow. Rymar needs a warbow. Cool. When we come back, we'll be clearing out Outlaws Hideaway. It's likely to be in a mountainous area, so we're just going to have to hope that we get a decent setup. If we start and they have height advantage, we're going to have to retreat and come back and hopefully get a better setup. Because if there's 10 marksmen with height advantage at the daytime, that's unacceptable.